Greetings, you're watching Oliver Medok Peterson, AU 617-191 of Group 15 with the 8th iteration of HOTSIF. And in this video, I will now demonstrate my progress with the integration of SemiSIF. And to do this, I will now focus on item number 2 on the list, which is to execute the semi-target. So in my shell command, I've written Gradle semi, and I will now let Gradle load up the SemiSIF game. And as we can see, we do indeed get the SemiSIF map that we want, and we have indeed also units that we can move. We start as player red in turn, and we cannot move units down into the water, but we can indeed move them around. So for example, I can move this archer here, I can fortify him, and likewise with the settler, I can create a new city. And then as player red, I can end my turn, and blue will be able to move his units. He can naturally also check other units, and from there it goes, essentially. Units are naturally produced. And now then, I will now proceed with item number 3 on the list before I get carried away, and that is to launch the Gradle target set focus. So I write in my shell Gradle set focus, and when a player clicks a unit while they are checking the tile focus of a unit, they will see that on their HUD, the unit shield will update to tell the player whom of player red or blue is the owner, and likewise with the amount of moves that this unit has left. Meanwhile, if the player clicks on a city, they are capable of seeing whom is the city owner, as well as what kind of unit is the city producing at the moment. So blue cities are currently producing archers, while red cities are producing B-52s. And another important aspect to testing these HUD updates was the Gradle update command, or rather the update tool, in which we tested to ensure that all graphical updates happened when we forced the movement in the game. And we end the turn a bunch of times, and with this, we are now capable of looking at item number 4, which is the code for the set focus tool. And if we look into the set focus tool, due to the fact that my game implementation by now has gotten quite complex, I had to create a test stub to make sure that we could specifically test to ensure that the set focus tool worked as intended. And to do this, I had to create a test stub in the form of a new implementation of the game class called StopGame2. And this game class I used to simplify a lot of the return statements that were made, and specifically a lot of the return commands have been cut down. So key aspects are that we only define the 3 cities that we saw in the get focus in the Gradle focus target, and likewise we see that for each city checking the production, I have set it so that player red always produces B-52s, and all other players always produce archers. And likewise for workforce focus, even though it's not implemented, for my case, I've set it to always return production focus. And this way, I am always capable of getting consistent results when I test the set focus tool using the stop game too, but I'm also capable of checking that the game shows the unit being produced and that this unit is the correct one, because we always know that for red cities, since if the owner is player red, B-52s will be produced, while archers for all other players. And this leads us to item number 5 on the list, which is to take a look at the code for the show composition class, which is the composition tool. So if we look into this composition tool, we combine previously created tools in our interactions to make sure that we have essentially one super tool that combines all of the functions that we had in the other of our tools to essentially load up one tool that handles all interactions at the same time. And for each of the individual tools, the composition tool creates a new tool of each type. So that is, for unit actions, it creates a new action tool, and for end of turn, a new end of turn tool. For move unit, a new move unit tool, and obviously for set focus, it creates a new set focus tool. And this way, I am essentially capable of instantiating all 4 tools at the same time in one go. And essentially, when we launch our game, we can just use the composition tool as our only tool and still keep all functionality of all our other tools. And the way that the composition tool handles the method calls of these subtools is through its own implementation of these tools. So a key example would be for mouse down, each tool has a different consequence. So when if we look at the end of turn tool, we can see that we have a mouse down action connected. So to make sure that our composition tool can call the mouse down method for the end of turn tool, we essentially call mouse down on our instantiated end of turn tool within our composition tool, and thus it's capable of calling all mouse down methods for each tool that has one, and likewise call all mouse up methods for each tool that has one. As such, we delegate the responsibility of handling the consequences of clicking on the various icons on our HotSafe GUI to different tools, but we can use all tools at the same time because of the combined tool that is our composition tool. This has been Oliver Midokbene Petersen, AU 617 191 Group 15, with the 8th iteration of HotSafe. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.